Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and I'm bringing you another Q&A of the week, and I'm actually doing my Q&A a little bit earlier because I have 3 big videos planned for this week, and I just thought it would be best to just get my Q&A out of the way so I could focus on editing those videos. So without wasting any more time, Qaaman, are you aware of your lordship's reign, and do you have this month's money so I don't end your planet's existence? Ha ha ha, K-bye. By Lord Frieza. Well, you know what, Lord Frieza? You can go screw yourself. You know why? Because you killed Piccolo once, you injured him on Namek, you wiped out the entire Namekian planet's existence, you wiped out the entire Saiyan planet's existence, you've killed many people throughout the universe, and most importantly, you've come into the Dragon Ball series more times than you should. Do I have to reiterate? You came into the Dragon Ball series with the Namek saga, you came later on during the Buu saga when you were dead in the afterlife, you came into GT with the resurrection of Cell and Frieza, you came into a plan to eradicate the Saiyans, you came into Resurrection F, you came into Fusion Reborn. Frieza, we don't need you anymore, and we have many people who can take you down. Alright, Dylan wants to know, LeBron said he'd love to play with CP3, Melo, and Wade. What chances are you giving him to leave Cleveland this offseason? In my opinion, 30%. I don't think LeBron would leave Cleveland again, because the thing is, when he joined the Heat back in 2010, I mean, that took a lot of media courage to do, and I think that he got so much scrutiny for doing it. I don't think he would go back to Cleveland to leave them again and go back to Miami or LA or wherever he decides to play in the future. I just can't see LeBron leaving Cleveland again. I just think it's too much. Yeah, they're going through a little bit of a rough stretch right now, but it's really not that bad if you think about it. I can't see LeBron leaving. I think it's just all media hype. But this is a good point. Lucario Own wants to know, do Vegito and Gogeta get singular Zenkai boost, or do Goku and Vegeta get Zenkai boost? Well, I mean, when you fuse, you become one person. So Gotenks is half Saiyan. Vegito and Gogeta are full Saiyan. Like, they are their own character. It's not like they're two halves. They're like one person. So with that said, yes, Gogeta and Vegeta would get Zenkai boost. Okay, Mark wants to know your honest thoughts about Yusuke Urameshi. I mean, he has a little bit of a bad boy edge to him that I think makes him, appealing, from other anime characters. He has a very interesting past with, having like that whole Mazaku demon thing inside of him. And I think he's a cool character. He's not my favorite Yu Yu Hakusho character, but he's cool. Favorite arc in anime. The way I look at it, when I look at Dragon Ball Z, I look at 4 main arcs. Saiyan, Namek, Android, Buu. That's how I look at it. Other people want to divide it up and split them up into many sagas. The way I look at it is there's 4 main arcs. I would have to say the Cell/Android arc is my favorite. Who do you think is a better guardian, Kami or Dende? I'm gonna have to go with Kami just because I think he just did more. That's just the honest reason. That's my simple answer. He did more than Dende did. And I know it's age, but you gotta give him credit. It's like asking a president who had a full 8 years versus a president who's had 6 months. Quabag, are you waiting for revival of Pussy? On a serious note, do you hate cunts who fucking be like, check out my newest vid? It's whatever, man. People need to promote themselves somehow. I don't think it's a big deal. Dragon Ball's best, and shout out to Dragon Ball's best. He's extremely active on basically everywhere I go. I have noticed you, Dragon Ball's best. Here's a question you can't answer. If Ginyu switched bodies with Shenron, what would happen when the Dragon Balls deactivate? My guess is if Ginyu switched bodies with Shenron, I think that would lead to Ginyu being revived whenever they pulled the Dragon Balls out. But I don't think Ginyu would know how to grant wishes because he wouldn't have had a lot of practice, and because the Dragon Balls, this is an interesting question. Because the Dragon Balls, require time to, reactivate and heal and stuff, I don't think that Ginyu would know what he's doing, and when they bring him out of the Dragon Balls, he's gonna be like, yeah. And because of that, I don't think Ginyu would be able to do anything, and I don't think he would, have any practice at all. He'd just be like, what the hell am I doing here? Okay, Max W Medica says, who would win between Supersonic and Chaozu? I mean, I'd probably have to go with Supersonic based off of what the blue-haired Super Saiyan has told me about him. I mean, I really don't know much about Sonic, but I mean, if if people have compared Sonic to Goku, and I don't know the whole thing, I'm not a big Sonic guy, I would have to say that if Sonic, you know, if people can argue he's stronger than Goku, he'd have to be stronger than Chaozu. That's just my guess based off of what other people have said. And the last question for Twitter is, what inspired you to be a YouTuber? In one word, boredom. I was bored. I thought there was a lot of other, I explained this before, but I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought there were a lot of really bad Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that had a lot of subscribers and a lot of people who watched them. And I was like, well, I think I'm a much better player than these guys. I built a completely, original deck. And I think if I became a YouTuber, I could do a much better job than they did. One thing led to another. Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't really take off on my channel. I started doing Dragon Ball. People started liking that more than my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. And the rest is history. So that's going to do it for my Twitter portion of the day. I will be right back with Ask FM in just 1 second. But I just bumped into this question by Jorge Ferragrino, who wants to know, who in Super do you want to see die who's not in Team Universe 6? That's an interesting question. I just have to answer this quick one. I really don't know. I mean, that's a hard question because, I mean, if you're saying not Universe 6, I don't know any other characters that we could really talk about that are really, antagonists to at least a minor degree. So I can't really answer that one. But I would say with more development from Super and if we see new characters, I can answer that a lot better. All right, so on to Ask FM. Alrighty, welcome to your Ask FM portion of the day. The first question comes in as the question of the day. You discover an island and decide to build your own society. What is the rule that you put into place? I mean, if there's one rule, the first rule I would put into place is everybody must share. Because if you're on an island all by yourself, you can't have selfish people because you need each other to survive. And I would probably put that in. I don't want people to kill. I mean, you gotta pretty much be a person that, works well together. So I would say that's my number one rule. How many people has Goku killed in Dragon Ball Z, not counting Ball, GT Super, the movies are filler? Okay, so he's just talking Dragon Ball Z? I mean, in Dragon Ball Z, Goku's killed Yakan. And if you count this as like a group team kill, he's killed Boo. And that's it. I mean, if you really think about it, Goku really hasn't killed anybody in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, if you guys can think of who he's killed in Z. And you remember he said not counting Ball, GT, Super, the movies, or filler. He's just talking straight up Dragon Ball Z. I can't think of any other characters, and I've seen the show many times. I say Yakan and I say Majin Buu. If you guys can think of anybody else in the comment section, please put it. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts because I'm pretty sure I didn't leave anybody out. Alright, what if Goku reached on time to fight Vegeta and Nappa? I mean, if Goku got there in time, I mean, he still technically was there on time before Gohan died, but I mean, if he got there earlier, I mean, I'd have to really think about it, but I mean, I have to think about what if he got there earlier, I mean, in all likelihood, the other Z fighters would have still been alive, and they probably would have just dealt with the Cybermen, and Goku would have just fought, Nappa, and then eventually Vegeta. And I think with the other Z fighters around, if Goku started getting in trouble, they could help him. Considering what Krillin and Gohan, who were, weaker than some of the other Z fighters at that point, were able to do, especially Piccolo and Tien. So I'm gonna have to say they would have made a big difference. Not really a question, but I'm currently in the hospital now. I have had surgery to remove my ileum and of small intestines due to my Crohn's disease. Just looking for some love and support so I can get out of here. I hope everything feels better for you, bro. Tis I with more Yu Yu Hakusho questions. Who would win? End of series Master Roshi with all his abilities and power, or Yusuke at the time he fights in the end of the series Demon World Tournament? I mean, like I've said before, Yu Yu Hakusho's hard, man. Cause like the feats are so imbalanced. Like, for example, if you go by like the anime when Yusuke was fighting Sniper, I mean, it seemed like Yusuke could be killed by explosions and bullets, but it seems like he's so fast that he can move throughout Demon World in 4 days. So if Yusuke took 4 days to run from one part of Demon World to the other, and I have to recheck the manga to see if that line was stated in the manga version, but if it took him that long to run, I mean, he's clearly not on the level of speed as the Z fighters. Yusuke might be able to hold up with Master Roshi in terms of power, but not speed and endurance. That's what I would say. If Piccolo just cut Gohan's tail when he transformed for the first time and didn't destroy the moon, then Vegeta would not create Ka official moon, which could have prevented Gohan's transformation during their fight. If there was a natural a natural moon, and there was also, you know, Vegeta's artificial moon, Vegeta could transform anyway, so in both situations, it could be screwed for the Z Fighters. I fucking hate YouTube kids. Every negative review on Batman vs Superman, they all post stupid Marvel fanboy shit. You can like DC, but don't like this movie. I mean, man, people are all up for their own opinion, man. I mean, you can't control what people say over the internet, and don't let it get to you, man. People are just who they are. Do you hate Mudkips? Mudkips? I don't know if you're talking about the Pokemon from Gen 3. I don't hate him. I mean, I picked him the second most. I always picked Torchic first, and then I picked Trico. Yeah, I think Trico's the baby form. Yeah, I picked Trico the third most, so I have no problem with Mudkip. He's a cool type. And the last question is, what if Champa's team was Nico, Majin Z, Onio, Kuriza from the manga? Nico Majin Z was just a little fun, you know, outside Dragon Ball story. It wasn't supposed to be taken serious, so I don't think anybody can really answer that legitimately. And have I ever played Tekken? Yes. So that's been pretty much all of my questions for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A segment, and most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always said, have a great day, guys. And I do not have a question of the day, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be, how many people has Goku killed in Dragon Ball Z?